Welcome back. Well, I'm pleased to have our own CEO of Village Management Services. We have Jeff Parker here today. And Jeff, it's great to have you back. Welcome.
Good to see you. Definitely.
You were on when you first came here, and it's been, what, a little over, what about?
Just about a year.
Yeah,
just a little over a year.
Yeah. And it's great to have you here.
Thank you.
And one of the things that you're implementing and coming up is community forums where people can meet with you. You're going to be at the different, well, Clubhouse 1 and Clubhouse 6 coming up towards the end of the year. And meet with folks one-on-one. They can come here and have a talk with them. Exactly. And that way it's less formal. They're not at some board meeting where they have to stand up and write down their question and all that. It's more of a free form, right?
Exactly. The idea was that we wanted to get out there and communicate more with the community directly on what the VMS is doing,
right? What
operations are going well, what things we need to improve on, and get feedback from the community as well.
Yeah, and each one of these, we'll give you the dates in a little bit, are really, you're going to be doing them every other month starting March 11th. However, there is one tomorrow.
There is.
Yeah, and that one's going to be a little bit different because Chuck Holland will be there.
Right. We're going to have Chuck come in and give more information about our dwelling live and our information that we have on our computer system, on our websites, so we can get people more engaged with using that activity to enhance their operations and to also enhance people's opportunities in the village.
Yeah, it's a fantastic system, and yesterday we had on our outgoing security chief, Tim Moy.
Yep.
And that was one of the things that we talked about because he helped implement that along with Chuck. And I remember when that first came on board, and Gate 6 was the first gate that really got transformed, and then eventually the others did, and Dwelling Live became a part of that. And it's really there to streamline, well, the people here, the residents, able to get folks in, family and friends, and set that up a lot simpler than stopping at the gate and signing in.
And we have, right now, we have a super number of people who just call into resident services and go through this, where they could more easily just go on the website, go on Dwelling Live, they can log in their guests that way, and it's just a more efficient system for both of our operation and for the individual.
Yeah, much better and easier to do. Another thing along with that is over the past couple of years are the RFID tags that have been put on the vehicles. That way they can just slide right into the gates open up, and that saves time as well.
Oh, and that's been a great addition to the community. One, it ensures our security is better for the overall community, but the access, like you said, is easier for them getting in and out as individuals. And we're only about 2,000 individuals away from getting everybody with RFIDs in the community, so that's great.
Yeah, that is a really good considering how many are out there, and that's been implemented. So you've been here about a year or so.
Right.
How has it been going for you? What have you learned? What have you seen? And what are some of the things that perhaps you'd like to see change a bit as far as streamlining and more efficiency?
Well, it's been wonderful. It's actually been a lot of fun. It's been a challenge also in the sense that learning a new government structure, in the sense that the Davis Sterling Act has a different governance structure than my past experience in local government. But learning that, and for me, most importantly, is getting to know and working relationships with my board of directors, not just the VMS board, but the boards from United, Third, and GRF. That's a big number of individuals who are very engaged and very participatory with regards to what they want to see in the village. And it's working together. That's been kind of one of my big goals this year, is how do we build a team? And how do we build a cooperative effort so that we can move forward with what's in the best interest of everybody in the village?
Have you found it a little bit daunting at times, being the fact that you were you manage the city of Tustin, right?
Correct.
And so essentially you are working with one board, meaning the city council. Here you're working with, well, really, if you count VMS, you're working with 4 boards. And so therefore, as you said, one of the goals is to mesh a lot of that together so they're not overlapping.
It's real important because certainly as VMS, we're here as an agent of the other three. We're here to get things done for them. And so if we can cooperatively work together and are on the same page, we're going to get things done faster, more efficiently, and better, and increasing our opportunities even for the village residents.
Right. Now, we've got some big tasks coming up over the next year or two. Of course, you have the Performing Arts Center, then down the line, Clubhouse One looking at. These are big ticket items that, just watching some of the board meetings, everyone has different takes on it. What do they want? Do we go the efficient route, get things done that just need to be done? Do we do things all at once? There's something where, you got to work with the boards, you got to work with the staff, and culminate all that information together.
No, you pinned it perfectly in a sense, and that's the real challenge, because we're working real hard on our budget structure this year. We're changing that up a little bit because we need to really identify where our resources are and how much money we can spend and what should be the best allocation of those funds. And as we put that together at the staff level, then we'll be introducing that come July to the board members and saying, here's where we are, here's where your opportunities are to go in the future. And then they can prioritize as policymakers. Do they want to focus on which clubhouse they want to focus on, what improvements they want to do, and is there other areas that we need improvement on that we haven't done in the past, catching up basically on levels of service that we need to improve.
Yeah, and speaking of that, the day-to-day services that are needed, landscape is never ending, and of course that's one of the big items here. How to do that more efficiently, of course, more water-wise, and that's always being looked at as far as the different areas and what can be done. Sometimes you change the mowing strategy. Of course, we've seen last year the elimination of using Roundup, which for a lot of people was very important, but it had to be looked at how much more pressure is that put on the staff, how much more is that going to cost? So there's trade-offs and everything.
And one of the things that we're doing now is evaluating our water system, our irrigation system, and we had put money in the budget this year to upgrade some of our irrigation system because water is getting more and more expensive. It's also a commodity that people are fearful of that is going to be here in the future. And if we're more water-wise and more efficient in our operations, especially in landscaping, then we can make sure that we don't run into that big increase in costs that we've been seeing lately from all the water districts throughout California.
Yeah, unfortunately.
And landscaping's been one of the areas, as well as resident services, that I really focused on in that first year of evaluating where we were at, what we needed to improve on. And Kurt Wyman, who's Kurt's taken over, done just an awesome job in the landscaping department. And his efforts, along with us looking at the budgets and seeing what we can do, we've contracted out some elements that are saving us some money and making us more efficient. And that's also allowed him to focus on other areas in landscaping that we needed to catch up on.
Yeah, and working along with El Toro Water District, of course, they're completing that other phase of the recycled water. And that's certainly going to help in long run as well. Another kind of upcoming issue, it's been talked about a lot with the Energy Committee, the Energy Task Force, and that is, of course, electric cars and electric vehicles. And we're moving there rapidly. And with any community, an aging community, where I live, it doesn't matter. It's that getting that infrastructure there and doing it again at a point where it becomes convenient for people, because that could be a selling point down the road here.
Absolutely. One of the things that our M&C committee is working with our staff on is trying to identify the key areas where these electric chargers can be. Where are we going to put these vehicle chargers? Are we going to put them everywhere? Are we going to put them at clubhouses? Where are the key elements? We have started the evaluation of whether or not we could put them in every carport. That's probably an expense that's going to be greater than the village can handle at this point in time. But we want to be able to evaluate what our opportunities are and where we can put them. Because you're right, it's coming. And the question is, are we going to be prepared for it when people come here? It is a selling point. We hear it all the time that, hey, I'm coming here, I want to retire here, but I have that electric vehicle. Where am I going to charge that? How am I going to charge that? Plus, we have enormous amount of golf carts. So charging golf carts is important too, and that's another asset. And where are we going to park them? Where are these vehicles going to be in our community? It's a critical effort looking forward, and I think that's one of the things that this board's, 3 boards, GRF, United, and Third, along with the VMS board, have started to come together and started to look at that future. And the strategic plan that we started up for the village, which is really looking at things at 3 and 5 year increments, is a focal point of that, because if we just look at the micro element of today or tomorrow, we're not going to be efficient in looking forward.
Yeah, if there's any community that is perfect for electric vehicles, a community such as this is.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it really does fit perfectly. Very active community, as you've seen.
You bet.
And we've got some great events coming up, and that's one of them is the Senior Games. And being the fact that you worked for a city before and then coming here, I don't know if did you ever work for a senior community before?
Not before. No,
so were you surprised how active everyone is here and how they're clamoring for great facilities and all the different sports that they play?
Having some knowledge of the village before I came here, I did understand that the facilities that we offered and the uniqueness of that was pretty outstanding. I mean, it's one of the unique things in all of the United States, really. And I think it's a marketing thing that we need to push relative to the village and why you should come by here and live here. What's amazing is the turnout that they have for the village games and for the tournaments that they have, and especially the clubs. That's amazing.
Yeah, it is very amazing. And every year with the village games, they add a little something else they're going to try each year, which is fun. And then just the events in general that go here in the village, the 4th of July event, and you've got the wonderful hoedown that's done at the Equestrian Center. There's just so much activities that are going on here.
And it's getting people involved in those, which they already are, but the volunteers and the staff that we have in our recreation department, it's amazing how they come together and work together to produce these type of activities for people to enjoy all year long.
Yeah, one other thing that was implemented just a few months ago, and that is the rerouting, so to speak, of the bus system. And in many cases, making it more efficient, bringing in Lyft when people want to use that instead of the dial-a-ride sort of system that we used to have. This has been going on for a few months now. What's the feedback you've been getting?
We're excellent feedback, and we're more efficient. We were able to add the bus service on Saturdays, which was an additional day, which people were clamoring for. So one, we're hearing nothing but positives, obviously, about that. But the other 2 operations are working more efficiently. And so we're providing more rides at the same cost that we were before.
Fantastic.
In fact, we hope at a savings in this next year. And so if we can do more with the same budget, then we're doing what the citizens are looking for. And this community loves the transportation system that we provide, because we go outside of the community, outside the gates, to our areas where we have medical services and our commercial centers.
Yeah, it's very unique for this place, and something, again, another selling point. Hey, I want to mention the dates here that are coming up for this. Now, of course, we mentioned tomorrow, which is going to be at Clubhouse 6. That one is going to be, well, all of these are at 10 a.m. That one is going to be with Chuck Holland, our IT director.
Right.
Good chance to really learn about Dwelling Live. That's going to be the main topic tomorrow. You can also ask him about the gate system and anything else that he has his hands in just about everything. Chuck really does.
We have him, keep him busy.
Yes. And then the other dates are going to be Wednesday, March 11th, these are all Wednesdays, May 13th, July 8th, and September 23rd. We'll remind you about these. Those will be at Clubhouse 1 at 10 o'clock. The one in September is going to be at Clubhouse 6. So again, we'll remind you of those dates. Right. I want to thank you for coming on.
You bet.
I know you're a busy guy. I appreciate it.
We're looking forward to having the community come out and talk to us, and so we can update them on our great stuff that was going on in the village and what we're doing, and get their feedback on how well we're doing.
Yeah, much more personal level.
Yeah.
Jeff, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you.
We'll be right back.